everyone and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, my name's Alexarayeco. And for today's video, I am so excited. We are finally doing our first ever book recommendation video on this channel, and I know, it has been a long time waiting for this video. We're finally doing it today, guys. I'm so excited. I have so many, just looking at them. I have so many great books to show you and talk about with you today. These are all books that will help you get out of a reading slump or will keep you going on your reading journey, because we all know, there's always that one book that you read and then afterwards you're like, I'm not reading for a good month or two because that was just horrible. So these are all books that helped me get out of that, or just really good books that kept me going on my reading journey. This is the first of many book recommendation videos I'm going to be doing on my channel. We still have so many great books out there to read, so I'm obviously going to keep recommending you books along the journey. As always, don't forget to comment down below any book recs you have for me. I love to read what you guys love, review them, do reading vlogs, all that fun stuff. Go leave me book recs. But with all that being said, we are going to jump right into this video. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for being here, and let's get into it. I have 12 books here today with me that I want to show you and talk to you about, give you my full opinion, and tell you why they're such great books to get you out of a reading slump. We're going to start off with a few of my most recent reads because they have gotten me out of a huge reading slump. So the first book I have here is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Guys, if you haven't read this book yet, this is one of my 5-star reads, as well as probably one of my top 3 favorite books of all time. This is just such a masterpiece. I am confirming for you, the hype about this book is so real. So this tells the story of Evelyn Hugo. She is a big-time rising Hollywood actress in the 50s, and we kind of travel through her entire life to see how she grows and how she makes her name so well known. She does all of this and she becomes so successful by marrying 7 different men. It's wild. The whole story is so wild. We have some good ones, we have some bad ones, we have a secret forbidden love that is so beautiful throughout the entire story. We also have a writer, Monique Grant. She is writing a huge big-time magazine article on Evelyn Hugo. The connection between Monique Grant and Evelyn Hugo is just insane. It's a book that I got lost in for hours and hours. I'm pretty sure I finished this within 2 or 3 days. If you want to hear more about this book and more details, I actually did a reading vlog with Evelyn Hugo about a month ago. It was such a roller coaster of emotions reading this book, but it was amazing. One of my 5-star reads. I definitely recommend it. The next book I have here is A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. This is book 1 out of 3. I actually recently just read this and finished it. I believe I did a reading vlog for this one as well, but I believe it was more of like a reading viral TikTok video. So if you guys want to go check that out, definitely go do, because I talk a lot about this. This was my second mystery / thriller read. It was really crazy. The thing I'm starting to like about mysteries and thrillers is that you're trying to figure out what's going on, what's going to happen. It keeps you wanting to read, and it's definitely a page turner. This was definitely spooky, but like, I could handle it. Anyways, this tells the story of Pippa. She's a high school student, and she basically is trying to uncover this murder mystery that happened in her own high school 5 years ago. She's trying to figure out what happened to Andy Bell and Sal Singh. This was a really good book. I did really enjoy this. A great transition book. If you're looking to transition into mystery / thriller reads, I definitely recommend this one because it's not too scary, but it keeps you on your toes. It is a page turner. You want to know what happens with the mystery and the murder. A great murder mystery read. The next book I have here is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. Guys, if you are a huge like romance nerd like me, this one is so cute. This basically follows the story of Olive Smith, who is a PhD student, and she falls in love with a professor at her school named Adam Carlson. Their love story is just... it is a grumpy meets sunshine trope, a fake dating romance trope. My favorite tropes, guys. This one, I love that they're scientists and they're nerdy. It is so cute. I love fake dating tropes, guys. I don't know why. They're just my favorite tropes because they're fake dating and they almost have like this animosity towards each other, but you know at some point during the story, they're gonna catch feeling. One of my 5-star reads, one of my favorite romances. The perfect amount of spice and everything nice will 100% get you out of a reading slump and will keep you wanting to read more. The next book I have is Anna and the French Kiss by Stephanie Perkins. Can we first just take a minute to look at this beautiful book cover and look at these pages, guys? This is the 10th anniversary collector's edition, and it is just absolutely gorgeous. I love everything about this. The inside is beautiful. It is a book that got me out of my reading slump so fast. I mean, I think I was in a bad reading slump, guys, like maybe like 2 months without reading. This is your typical super corny, cheesy romance read. So this tells the story of Anna. She is an American girl who goes to school to study in Paris for a year. She falls in love with Paris and the culture, the aesthetic. She meets so many great people, and St. Clair is a boy who's also attending the school in Paris. I believe St. Clair is English though. He's not French. Their whole story is so sweet. It is a friends to lover trope. A very cute, cheesy, corny read, but it makes you feel good. It gives you those butterflies. I also just love the friends to lover trope. I always think that's like a cute and sweet romance story. I promise you, you won't regret it. The next book we have here is a cult classic. It is Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. This could be a hit or miss for a lot of people. Because I'm an English major, I've studied a lot of Old English and classics throughout the past 4 years, so I'm a huge Jane Austen junkie. Pride and Prejudice is one of those books that I will reread over and over again because it's just one of my favorites. It's something that will always get me out of a reading slump or get me into wanting to read romance stories again. After reading this, my expectations because of Mr. Darcy. If you're not familiar with the story, it takes place in the 19th century. It's a love story between Elizabeth Bennet and Mr. Darcy. Basically, they go back and forth throughout the story, kind of like hating on each other because neither of them want to express how they really feel for one another. I also really love Jane Austen's Emma. I think Emma is another beautiful read. She writes realistic characters and relationships. If you haven't tried her, I definitely recommend trying her. You never know, you might just fall in love with her like I did. The next book I have here is none other than The Duke and I from the Bridgerton series by Julia Quinn. So I wound up picking this book up shortly after it had aired on Netflix, and I loved it. It's definitely a book that got me out of a reading slump. It really just kept me going. I'm pretty sure I finished this in like 1 day because I was so invested in Bridgerton, guys. Wow, I was so obsessed with it. I even did like a huge Bridgerton clothing haul on my channel. It was like the first video on my YouTube channel to like ever blow up. I believe this is book 1 out of 9. I believe there's like 9 books total. This is such a cute, corny, cheesy read. It will get you out of that reading slump. It's an easy read. It gives me enemies to lovers vibes, but this is a fake dating trope as well. Easy read and a great start to a beautiful series. The last 6 books I have to show you guys. You guys know, if you've been here for like a hot minute, you already know what I'm about to show you. If you are new here, I will give you a fair warning. I am a huge Colleen Hoover fan at the moment. I do really love her books and her writing. And with that being said, our last 6 books of this video are Colleen Hoover books. These are 1-day reads for me because I just read them so fast and I love them, and then I move on to the next. We have 6 amazing Colleen Hoover books. You can read any of these and I promise you will be out of your reading slump. I'm gonna start with the very first book I've ever read of hers because it is the book that got me out of a huge reading slump a few months ago, and it is It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. I'm sure you guys have seen this book everywhere. It was the start of my Colleen Hoover obsession. I went into it thinking it was gonna be really beautiful, corny romance. What I learned is that Colleen Hoover likes to throw the craziest plot twist at her readers. Such a crazy, beautiful read. Something I love about Colleen Hoover is that she really writes realistic characters, their relationships, and the problems that people could have in their relationships. This follows the story of Lily. She moves to Boston. She meets Ryle, who is a doctor. Ryle just gets your heart right in the beginning. We also have Atlas, who is another great character in the story. This being the first one I've ever read of hers, I'm happy it was because it really got me into reading her books, and now I'm like obsessed. I have almost all her books actually. The second book I read of Colleen Hoover's is All Your Perfects. This is another book that I read that I fell in love with, and it just kept me going down the rabbit hole of Colleen Hoover books. This follows the story of Quinn and Graham, and in this book every other chapter is then and now. We go back and forth between time periods from when Quinn and Graham first met to where they are in life now. This is another really good romance read. We watch as Quinn and Graham fall in love, as well as later on we see the struggles they face together as a couple. Again, Colleen Hoover throws the craziest plot twist at you. You don't know what to think or expect. This is definitely one that I read and it just kept me going. So after that we have Ugly Love. This became my favorite Colleen Hoover book once I read it. This was such a good story, guys. This follows the story of Tate and Maya Miles. I love Miles in this story, mainly because of how protective he gets over Tate. The chapters switch between Tate and Miles. We see the story from both characters' point of views, which is really cool. Tate is a student in school staying with her brother. Miles is a pilot who flies airplanes for a living. Just the craziest plot twist ever. I think that's why I keep reading Colleen Hoover's books, because I just want to know her plot twist. Like, I want to know what she's going to come up with next. How does she come up with these ideas? They start like a no strings attached relationship type of thing. You can't do that. You're gonna catch feeling. You try to figure out why Miles is so against being in a relationship. Gotta read it to find out, guys, but the plot twist, oh my gosh. Next up, we have Verity by Colleen Hoover. This was my first ever thriller book that I've ever read, surprisingly. It was really good. This follows the story of Lowen. Lowen is an author, and she basically gets recruited to finish up Verity Crawford's book series. When Lowen arrives at their home to start writing Verity's work and going through Verity's office, she stumbles across some really crazy things that Verity had written that Jeremy and her family had never seen. I recommend, if you're trying to get into mystery / thriller reads, get you out of that reading slump, because it's a mystery, it's a page turner. You want to know this deep, dark secret that Verity has been hiding. If you've read this, let me know down below if you are team manuscript or the letter. Next, we have November 9th. This is another one of my favorite all-time books by Colleen Hoover. This follows the story of Fallon and Ben. Their meeting is so sweet. It's when Fallon is out to eat with her dad, and her dad's not the best dad, kind of lecturing her and stomping on her dreams. Ben kind of puts himself in the middle and tries to help her out. Because Fallon is moving across the country, her and Ben agree to meet every single year on the same date, November 9th. Their whole relationship development and story throughout is beautiful. This also is in the same universe as Ugly Love, so we see characters from Ugly Love appear in this book, which I love. Honestly, if you're going to read November 9th, read Ugly Love first. This is another really great read, page turner. Look at these books, guys. They're not even that long. You can read these within a day. The last book I have to show you is one of my most recent reads. It is Reminders of Him. This is such a different vibe for Colleen Hoover. It really focuses on a mother-daughter relationship. This is about the story of Kenna and Ledger. Kenna has just gotten out of prison, and she's trying to be in her daughter's life. She wants to meet her. She wants to be her mother. There are just people around her that are preventing that from happening. And there's Ledger. He is a bar owner, and him and Kenna meet very quickly because Kenna walks into his bar unexpectedly thinking it was a bookstore. It's definitely one that tugs at your heartstrings, but you just want to keep reading because you want to know what happens to Kenna and her daughter. You want to know what happens with Ledger, what he decides to do. He's really fighting himself throughout the entire book on what he should do, what's right, what's wrong. If you're gonna take any of the Colleen Hoover books away from me today, I would just take these three. These are my three favorite books by her. I can't put these books down once I start them. They are just that good. Okay guys, that is all for my book recommendation video. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm hoping you were able to take away like some good books from this video. I know a lot of these are pretty popular at the moment. That's why I wanted to share them here, just because I know they're easy to find in the bookstores at the moment. If you've read these books, let me know down below what you think of them. If you haven't read any of these, let me know what books you're interested in. Most of these books that I shared with you today, I have probably done reading vlogs with or book reviews. Definitely go check out my other videos. These are all really great books to help get you out of a reading slump. If you just aren't motivated to read, if you have no interest in reading, these books will get you back into reading 100%. I'm sure there are a few in here that you can find that you will absolutely love. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up because it really helps me out. It lets me know that you like this type of content, you like my book content, you like hearing me talk on and on about books all day. And then of course, don't forget to subscribe down below if you'd like to see more of me and my book content. I'm gonna start incorporating daily vlogs soon for you guys. Don't forget guys, I post weekly. It's basically free entertainment every week. You might as well subscribe. And with all that being said, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you in my next video.